and some ground works for others, and some works for none. So you got to test that first. The thing with hydroponics is you can guarantee what's in there, what's the material, what's the soil, what it has for nutrients, which is nice. So that's why hydroponics is beneficial, because you can control the environment completely. The water, what's in the water, the nutrients, what's in the soil or soil replacement. So I did that. Turns out farming is hard. So I just, up front, guys, I want you to know, it's not easy. I mean, if you want to just do it kind of casually, okay, I have a little garden here, that's great, of course. And that's a good place to start, because then you know, okay, I like growing things in the ground or hydroponically. I like kind of tending to them. I like being outdoors. So let me just expand what I'm doing some more. So I kind of thought, I had an oversimplification of what a farmer was in my mind, right? I saw like they got the straw or whatever in their mouth with the overalls and a pitchfork, and I thought it was kind of a simplistic profession. But it's, as you guys are probably learning.
You did like Chris.
Who's Chris?
Right here.
What did Chris do?
He's an Air Force guy. He thought it was cool till he felt the heat.
What heat did you feel? Where does it feel? Excuse me.
He said he wanted
Oh, okay, the farmer. Okay, got it. Yeah, there is. Yeah, I mean, you're dealing with the environment. You're out in it with the plants, so you're kind of a plant yourself that you got to take care of. So I sold that business. I'll talk to you more about farming as we go through this course and my experience with farming. Sold that, and then I started a food products company and restaurants with my current business partners. I've started a few other businesses as well, all in kind of the restaurant equipment or food safety business space. So again, guys, 13 years ago, I think it was approximately, going through this course, I'm nothing special. I had basically no experience in starting a business for sure, a little bit in managing a business, so I kind of saw that aspect of it, but I was right where you guys were. And I just said, I'm going to be an entrepreneur, I'm going to figure this thing out, and I'm going to see it through to the end. And that's it. That's the plan. So I stuck it through to the end, 13 years later, from where you guys are sitting to teaching you guys how to do it. So it can be you, basically, is what I'm telling you. It can be you. There's no reason why I can't. So why do I do it? It's important to know why I believe people are trying to tell you something and teach you something. So again, I have some experience that I think is going to help you kind of lay a solid foundation for you to build on. But I don't know everything, so I'm constantly learning. I'm learning from you guys. I'm sure I will learn new things from you. I'm learning from Tony. Every day that I'm with him, I'm learning from this environment. And then it's good to, once you know something that's going to help others, to not keep it to yourself, right? You want to share that thing. If you say, okay, this is going to help others save time, save money, better themselves, achieve some dreams, help their family, etc., then it would be selfish to keep it to yourself. What about you? In the beginning, any idea can work. So don't think, oh, I need to have this perfect business plan and like this perfect name for the business and perfect logo. No. In the beginning, for this course, any idea. Just say, okay, this will be the idea, and stick with it. Because right now we're doing kind of the modeling phase, where we're poking holes in our ideas. We're learning, what is a business plan? How does that work? We're learning to grow crops. We're learning about accounting. So in the beginning, you're just in the learning phase. Don't think that this is the business idea that you're going to see through to the end, that you're actually going to start. And you want to get your ideas out there before the market has its input. What does that mean? So a lot of ideas that have holes in them, the holes could have been discovered before people started spending money and before they had to learn in real time when they had already started the business. They can be figured out by interacting with your peers here and by interacting with myself and with Tony and asking questions. So you want to get all your ideas out there. You don't want to hold them in and say, oh, I can't share this idea with anybody. It's so good that they'll try and steal it. A lot of people think that in the beginning, and that's rarely true. You want to get it out there so we can all poke holes in it. That doesn't make sense to me. You should try this differently, etc. So again, you'll start with one idea for the course, going through the business planning, and you can see that idea through to the end, because right now it's just about learning and experimentation. So these are kind of some key concepts here for owning a business overall, and that you'll be able to implement in this course too while you're learning about starting the business. you have to have somewhere that you kind of capture and organize information. It can be a to-do list, a calendar, it can be a notes app, but you have to have somewhere. You can write it down too, definitely, but the problem with writing it down is it doesn't come to you, right? It doesn't remind you. Once it's written down and you turn the page, where did that thing go? You don't know. You kind of forgot it. You're writing a lot of pages, boom, boom, boom. Pages are flipping. Oh, I wrote a date on here. Okay, well, that is not going to remind you if it's on paper. So what I like to do is I'll have a notebook, because writing things down does help your brain recognize them as more important and remember them, just the process of writing. But then at the end of the day, I'll go through that and I'll kind of clear it out. I'll say, okay, this, not important. Cross that out. This, that's very important. Let me put that on my calendar in iCloud on my Mac here, and then I'll put a reminder. Oh, this is going to become a to-do. So I kind of clear that day out, boom, go to the next day. So it's not just a page sitting there with information. To-do list, calendars, like I said, writing things down. And then the last one, a lot of us think, oh, I don't know, I'm an adult, I'm learning something new, I should already know this. Why would you know it? It's something brand new to you. So there's nothing wrong with, like we've always been told our whole lives, to ask questions. And you want to ask a lot of questions, because if you don't understand something and you think everybody else does, everybody else gets this, but I'm the only one that doesn't get it, well, it doesn't matter what everybody else is doing. It matters that you understand it. So don't be afraid to ask questions. In my course, ask questions of Tony. Anybody that you see, okay, they're doing something that I want to know about. And then the course outline, we did the introduction. Today we're going to go over kind of a macro or a big picture view of the market that we're about to get into. And then we'll go over the financial fundamentals of accounting. Next chapter will be regulation and planning. We'll talk more about those chapters next class. All right, so if you told me I'm going to get into the coal mining business here in America, I might say to you, I don't know if that's the best idea, because we're kind of phasing out coal. It's kind of a dirty, dangerous business. I mean, could you make it work? Maybe, yeah. But is it going to be very challenging, maybe unnecessarily so? I would say yes. So before you get into any market, and when we say market, we mean, and you guys will have this PowerPoint too to take with you, exactly as it's presented here, the exact PowerPoint. So it's good to, before you get into any market, and when we say market, we're talking about like, okay, what's this sector of the economy? Agriculture sector, I don't know, oil and gas sector. So we're getting into the food production, agriculture section of the market. So you need to understand what you're getting into. And that's why you're in this course. That's why you're going to get your business plan done. That's why we're going over the basics of accounting right now. Because again, guys, I can't say this enough. You need to be practicing. You need to be getting real-world experiences before you actually start your business and before you start spending money. You want to be working with other people who are doing what you're doing. You say, okay, I want to start a farm growing this. Well, then you should train with somebody who has a farm doing that. Or you should ask questions of somebody who has a farm doing that. You have to physically go out to farms, restaurants, grocery stores, breweries, and get feedback on your business idea. Do you think this is a good idea? Is this something you would buy? And I've found, guys, that when you ask people questions and are interested in what they have to say, like a produce manager at a grocery store, like a brewer at a brewery, you ask about what kind of hops are you guys using in this beer? Oh, do you have organic hops? Oh, that could be interesting if I grew organic hops and I sold them to you and you could make an organic beer. These are two websites that show you the commodity pricing of things like kale and bananas and coffee, things like that. So you can see, okay, this is a crop that I could consider growing because it can be profitable. There are some things like cotton and corn. Those are subsidized by the government, so those aren't on their own profitable. So I wouldn't recommend that you start growing those types of crops. And you can look on here and see, okay, I can get a decent amount of money if I grow this tomato. Ooh, I'm looking over here. Corn is actually in the negative. I think I'm not going to grow that. So these are two good websites for researching that. Keep in mind there's no easy answer. It seems like today more than ever, we're looking for instant gratification. We're looking for, this is the shortcut. This is the hack. Everybody's doing shortcuts and hacks. Go ahead, man.
If the government is paying you to grow wheat or corn,
Yeah,
or
cotton.
why wouldn't you just take the money and be happy?
Those guys are, but they're growing it on a massive scale. Like I'm talking about thousands of acres probably. Yeah, so they're doing all right. But
you got it down south, so
yeah,
yeah, so that's you got to think where's the corn and the cotton come from.
I mean, because you got a constant customer.
They got the land.
yeah, everybody needs it,
Yeah.
but you got to do it on such a large scale. I mean, massive, massive. Yeah, using combines, like huge equipment. They got, yeah, land, they got the labor to do it because it's very cheap down there. So could you get into it? Yeah, but it would be very challenging. You'd have to do it on such a large scale. That's a really good question though. So identify your passions and skills. A lot of people will say you have to do something you love, and you'll never work a day in your life, as if you find something, I don't know, I like sewing or something. Okay, I'm going to sew these shirts and sell these shirts. And you're going to always be happy and love it. That's not accurate at all. There's going to be times where you're miserable. And actually, I would say that shows that you love it when you stick with it, even when you're challenged, even when you're miserable, struggling. Because no matter how much you like it, once you do it 1,000,000 times over, which you could in the life cycle of your business, you're not going to love it the entire time. So I always say it's not necessarily that specific thing like, okay, I love sewing. It's more like, what's your natural strength psychologically? Do you like to keep things organized? Do you like just working by yourself outside? Who are you as a person? Because that's what will really carry you forward. So if you say, I'm not really into money, I don't really care about that, then you need to find somebody who's going to complement your skill, somebody who does care about money, who's good with money. So that will help you find a business partner. It's just like a relationship, right, guys? When you're starting a business, you're looking for a business that is going to fit with you, who you are as a person. You're also maybe looking for business partners that will fit with you as a person. Research and develop your idea. Look into what's already out there. Who are your competitors? What can you offer that's unique or better? Most of the time, guys, whatever our idea is, somebody is already doing something similar out there. It's very, very rare that you're going to create a completely new product or service that doesn't exist. And then if you are, you kind of have to ask yourself, well, am I just that genius? Or is nobody doing it because it's not a good idea and no, I'm not going to make any money off of it? So you got to contemplate on that. So if you say, I'm going to grow kale, you go to the grocery store, you pick up the kale, it's got the twisty tie on it, it says this is the farm that grew it, you go on the internet, you research them, you call them up, see if you can do a little tour, see if they accept, like, I don't know, you can work with them for free or maybe get a paid job so you can learn from them. So it's always good to learn from what's already out there so you don't reinvent the wheel, make that thing square so it doesn't roll. What does the customer need? Identify your potential customers and what problems they have that you can solve. That's a huge part of it, guys. You got to start with the end in mind. So if you don't start with, okay, this is who's going to buy it, this is how I'm going to sell it, I'll build it and they will come business model, rarely ever successful. So is it a woman of this age? Is it a family of this? Is it kids of this? Who's going to buy my product? How are they going to see it? How are they going to buy it? Am I going to do some like cutesy, cartoonish design on it? Or am I going to do like a Harley Davidson type marketing design on it? You have to figure out who's my customer, and so then you have to cater the design of what you're doing to that. All over the place. Creating a business plan. That's what you guys have already started that process, right? You haven't yet? Okay, then you will. Then I'm ahead of that. That's good. What is the purpose of your business and what do you hope to achieve? Again, we're starting with the end in mind so that you know, okay, in 1 year I want to be here, 5 years here, 10 years here, so on and so forth. Because if you don't have a plan, if you don't have a budget, then you never really know if you're meeting any goals, if you're succeeding. So again, always start with the end in mind. Business model, how will you make money? Will you sell products, offer services, or a combination of both? Goals and milestones, set short-term and long-term goals. What does success look like in 1 year, in 5 years, and so on and so forth. Another big aspect of this, guys, and it's not why any of us got into business, but it is there, and especially in California, it exists. You need to know the legal structure of your business. You need to know regulatorily what you're getting into, legally, how you're going to interact with the government. So there's many different business structures, and we'll get into this more specifically next class because it's very important to understand, but I'll just give you a little taste right now. So the business structure that you choose affects every aspect basically of the business and finance and liability. So maybe if you choose one business structure, got many different ones, LLC, S corporation, C corporation, blah, blah, blah. Depending on which one you choose will determine your kind of risk and your liability, as in if this business kills somebody, if this business goes bankrupt, what will happen? Oh, they can come and take my house because I didn't set up the correct business structure. Now, of course, that's like the absolute worst case scenario. That would never happen, but it's an example of how the business structure can affect your personal life as well. There's many different licenses and permits. So before you get into a business, you want to understand what are the permits I'm going to need, licenses, because what if you find out the permitting process for doing this specific business in this area is so complex, so extensive, that it's going to stop me from basically doing this business. Like let's say, oh, I want to brew beer, I'm growing some hops out back, I'm going to do a little brewery here. Oh, now I'm going to start selling it, people seem to like it.
You ain't got no alcohol license.
Without alcohol inspection, without alcohol license, you'll get in big trouble. I think we kind of all know that inherently, but then you find out, oh, you got to have this and this and this, and you're like, this is no fun. I don't want to do this anymore. Trademark and registration. If you have a unique brand name, consider trademarking it and registering your business. That's kind of a tidbit for the future, because in the beginning, even if you do have like a unique logo, a unique idea, etc., you still need to build it out and know that, all right, this is a business, it's really working, it's succeeding, people like it, and then you can consider things like trademarking and registering your business. Sure, we've all seen like the little TMs after words or R. That means that in America, because China, as soon as you, it seems like as soon as you TM or R something, they're like, that must be good, we'll take that, thank you. Because it's kind of letting them know like this has some value to it, So, but I mean, our market is here more than likely, not in China. Secure funding. The reality of business is money. You must make it. If you don't, then it's not a business, right? So a lot of people look at money as maybe bad, maybe, being greedy, wanting money, wanting to make money is evil. Other people look at it as, that's the only thing that matters, is I must make more money. What is money? It's just energy transferred from one to another. So a person works their 8-hour shift wherever, making $12 an hour, etc. They get off work, okay, I mean, they don't get their money right away, but they got their paycheck from the last 2 weeks they worked. So they got their money, they go to the farmer's market, they see your crop there, and they say, I want to buy this. It's organic, I like the packaging, I know you from when I came to the farmer's market last week, I like you. So they transfer their energy from working in the form of money to you for your energy of working, of making that crop exist. So that's all it is. It's so we don't have to kill each other, to get a meal anymore. You can just transfer a bit of paper and that represents, a certain amount of money. Look into small business loans or microloans that can help you get started. There's a lot of these small business loans out there with the SBA. In the beginning, guys, don't think, oh, I need $1 million. I got to do this huge greenhouse. No, it's okay to start really small, like what we're doing here with the high tunnel out there, growing these right here. You want to start small so you make the mistakes small. So you might be good with maybe a $10,000 loan, $5,000 loan, something small, get the farmer's market stand going. Because start small, make the mistakes small before you grow. Might also consider pitching your idea to investors who like your vision. That's another one. In the beginning, it's going to be tough to get investors for what we're doing. If we're maybe making an app, that's a little bit different because you can show people this is the app, it's going to function like this, I already kind of built it on the internet. Okay, they see, that seems like a good idea if you can execute. But telling somebody, I'm going to start a farm, I'm going to grow this, they're like, oh, okay, yeah, let me see it. You're like, well, it doesn't exist yet. So there's a lot more risk for that investor, right? Because they're like, do you even know what you're doing? So in the beginning, it's not a bad idea to sell equity in the business. What does that mean? A percentage of the ownership for somebody who invests in your business. Because if you don't have any money, you can't do anything. So it's okay to sell a portion of what doesn't exist yet, your business, to somebody else in exchange for them investing. So don't be afraid to maybe take on a family member that you trust and love and will support you financially. Don't be afraid of taking them on, or a friend that wants to get involved as well. Another way to invest is, of course, sweat equity. What does that mean? They're working and they're not getting paid. So maybe you have a friend, you say, let's start this business together, we're going to go 50-50, or maybe you go 75-25 because you did the majority of the work, you attended the class, you're doing the business plan. So in the beginning, you're both just going to be working, right? And there's no money. Nobody's making any money. No revenue is being generated. So that's another way to take on an investor. Developing your brand. Today, especially on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, MySpace, AOL Messenger. You guys know about these? I didn't think so. Cutting edge. Just want to make sure you're still awake. Everybody's all about, oh, this is my personal brand. I'm an influencer. I'm this. Okay, yeah. I mean, these days, everybody's kind of got to be a character version of themselves. Like you look at, what's his name? Tekashi 6ix9ine. You know this guy? Very colorful. See, exactly. How do I know? Why do I know that he still exists? Because I'm on the internet somewhere. It could be Instagram. Not sure. Just scrolling, and boom, there he is. In a split second, you already know. So you can take a lesson from these guys, what they're doing. Honestly, they're just this crazy character. He's got 6'9", the number 6'9", or spelled out 6'9", like 100 times tattooed on his body. It's just insane. But we're talking about him right now. So it must have worked. You want to do something that's memorable, maybe not in that same way, but you get what I'm saying. You want to do something memorable. All right, people identify, okay, that's different. I can identify it instantly.
Like I tell my kids, attention from both ways, bad and good.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So hopefully you're getting the good kind here. Build a website, create social media profiles to start connecting with potential customers. That's something that you can do early on to kind of gauge, all right, are people interested in this idea? Do they understand this idea? Like, do they like the name of the business? Because you can get more feedback on the internet because, you know, you got, on average, every second of the day, millions of people on the internet. So you can get a lot of easy, free feedback from them. Also, definitely get it from your fellow classmates here, too, and Tony and myself. Don't be afraid to ask questions, like we said. It comes time to launching your business. Marketing plan. How will you reach your customers? You can consider online marketing, social media, like we just mentioned, word of mouth, local advertising. So again, starting with the end in mind, failure to plan, planning to fail. A marketing plan, it doesn't have to have like a specific format. We're not talking about all marketing plans must be standardized like this. Could even be one page. My marketing plan is, how am I going to reach my customers, social media, etc. What am I going to do so basically people know I exist? Once you let them know that you exist, then they have a decision to make. Do I kind of click more? Am I interested in this thing? Will I go to the farmer's market and see them? Wherever you are, the farm stand, however you're selling. So that can be your first marketing plan. Something simple, one page. But again, guys, if you don't have a plan for how you're going to market, how you're going to let people know you exist, it's going to be very hard for you to sell product if nobody knows that you exist. You might have something incredible going. You might have some rare, cool tomato that tastes so good, but nobody even knows about it. You never sell it. Very sad. I remember there was a restaurant in downtown San Diego that I used to go to, Argentinian restaurant, so good, so authentic. They were making everything like from scratch right in front of your eyes. Went out of business after like a year, I think it was. Amazing. They had basically zero marketing outside of the restaurant. They had the storefront, and that wasn't even very good. Honestly, the place looked terrible. But everything about that was bad, except for the food was amazing. And they went out of business. And you got like some terrible food, terrible restaurants out there that are just killing it, opening new locations all the time. Like, I don't know how you guys feel about McDonald's. When I was a kid, I liked it. It was good. I remember it being like kind of food. Yeah, exactly. Get the Big Mac going, okay, with the special sauce. Now, I don't know if what is that stuff now? That's just my opinion. But McDonald's keeps expanding, right? They're one of the largest businesses in the world. And then connect with other entrepreneurs, potential customers, and mentors to grow your network. I know you might think, I like to kind of keep to myself. I'm kind of an introvert, whatever it is. Guys, you got to get out there. You got to interact with others because that's how you're going to grow your network. And they say your net worth is your network, right? And it is true. I hear it so much now. I'm kind of like, ugh. But it is true because you got somebody over here who's connecting you to this thing over here. Oh, you need a this? I know where to get that, so on and so forth. If you're doing it by yourself, guys, I've always had business partners and gone to like entrepreneur events, taking courses like this, and it's made the journey so much easier. Stay adaptable and keep learning. In the beginning, guys, what you're doing is basically R&D, research and development. So you're getting the idea out there and you're seeing, do people like it? Do they get it? Are they eating what I'm making? And then you take that feedback and you make the adjustments. That's why you don't want to start too big in the beginning, guys. Imagine you spend, your $1 million on this huge greenhouse, you get it built, you're growing, 100,000 kale plants, whatever it is, and then you go to sell the kale and you realize that the grocery store's already got enough kale. They got too much. They don't want to buy yours. So you got to go to them on a small scale first, because a grocery store could be your customer, could be at a farmer's market stand, and you get their feedback. Oh, I don't like the logo. I don't get it. What is it supposed to be? And it doesn't matter if you feel like it's right to a certain extent. I mean, not in like a right and wrong sense, but like your logo. Oh, but I like it. And not a single person is like, I don't know. I know what that is. They cannot tell. You might have to change it, guys. Nobody knows what it is. But maybe in explaining it, there's a fun story there, and maybe that engages them. So maybe them asking, what is it? I can't tell what it is actually good marketing. That decision will be left up to you. Continuous learning. Stay informed about industry trends and don't be afraid to adapt your business model as you grow. The game is always changing, guys, constantly. In business, especially now with the way that technology is moving and AI, you got I read about the first one-man $1 million business. I don't know if you guys saw that. He doesn't even make anything. It was a website that connects doctors to prescribe customers weight loss drugs. That was what he made millions of dollars off. Yeah, so you got the doctors there, right? And you got the customers, and you got the weight loss drugs, which he doesn't even own. They're like drop shipped from other countries. So doctor and potential customer talk. Doctor says, okay, I'm going to give you a prescription for GLP-1 or whatever these weight loss drugs are. Boom, digital prescription, writ, signed, everything. Then places the order over in China, wherever the drug comes from. They drop ship it to the customer who just got the prescription from the doctor. So that's all he did. He doesn't even make anything. It's all AI-based, millions. There's actually now, I can't remember if it's a one person or two person, it doesn't matter actually, who's made $1 billion. You can Google that. First one person $1 billion business. So it's getting crazy out there because of AI. The technology is evolving so quickly. So make sure you stay on your A game with that AI. Managing your finances. Again, business planning, the business planning aspect of finance is budgeting. If you don't say, I got to spend under this amount every month, and I got to spend this much in this category, this much in this category, then you don't really know where your money is going, and you don't really know if you're using it correctly. So like in your personal life, right? Maybe you're just, I don't want to look at that credit card statement. Oh, I don't know about that credit report. Oh, I'm not. So you're just ignoring it and hoping it's going to kind of go away. As we all know, I'm sure, it's not going to go away, and it's only going to get worse. And we kind of know that deep down inside. Yeah, we don't want to create a budget because, oh, then I got restrictions. I have to like actually keep track of how much money I spend on eating out or whatever our other, kind of vices are. Oh, I got Apple TV, I got Disney Plus, I got Hulu, I got all these things. Do you really need all of those, guys? All those subscriptions? It's nickel and diming you to death. You got $6.99 here, $11.99 over there. So you're adding them up, and it equals something. So you look at your finances, you say, okay, I don't need 6 subscriptions to like movie watching whatevers. Ooh, my car payment is $1,000 a month. I'm trying to start a business here and save up my money. Probably don't need that brand new $1,000 a month car payment. The insurance is probably way higher on it as well. Interest rate as well on the car payment. You say, I'm just going to sell that and I'm going to buy a whatever Toyota old pickup truck for $10,000, and that's going to be better for my farming job. Profit and loss. Regularly review your financial statements to understand your business's performance. So guys, if you're doing everything right, you're doing the budgeting correctly, you're doing the business planning correctly, the accounting correctly, then you'll be able to generate, and we'll talk more about these here in a little bit, you'll be able to generate financial statements that are basically a roadmap to your business. So keeping everything organized and in order, generate these financial statements, and they say, all right, look, you're making this amount of money on this product. You say, okay, I didn't know that. That's not very much. I thought I was making more. I need to reduce, is this going to make it out alive? I need to reduce production of that product, and then you look at the next line and you see, okay, this product is making a lot of money. I'm going to focus on that product more. But you would have never known it. You got money coming in, money going out, if you're not keeping your accounting organized. Consider reinvesting some of your profits back into the business to fuel growth. A lot of times when entrepreneurs kind of make their first profit, they're like, I did it, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a business owner, I got profit, and they spend it. And that's not a good idea in the early stages of business, because guaranteed, guys, some crazy unexpected challenge will come. It always does. It's like having kids. I don't have kids personally, but my friends who have kids have told me that it's similar. You never know what that kid's going to do, right? Everything's going smooth. All right, we got little Timmy in daycare. We're paying $1,000 a month, San Diego, for that. Oh my gosh, he dang stuck the fork into the outlet like a cartoon. Zzz. Okay, got him. Now he's got to go to the hospital. Oh my gosh, it shut down the daycare because it like burnt out the panel. Unexpected things, guys, is what I'm saying. So for the business, you have many unexpected things. So you need to keep as much money available as you can to prepare for that. Maybe a vehicle breaks down. And then the last bullet point here, once you've established a successful business, consider scaling by expanding your product line, opening new locations, or entering new markets. In the beginning, guys, you want to focus on just one thing, one product, one service, and make that so good that people can't say no. They can't resist it. They say, oh, that's the best tomato of that variety. Oh, this is the best service of this. And if you look at all the biggest successful companies in the world today, they basically all started with one specific product and made sure that that thing was obsessed over. People just had to have it. They loved it. Hiring. As your business grows, you may need to hire employees or freelancers to help manage the workload. This, guys, this is AI. It is becoming AI, and I would say it already is there. I don't know how many of you guys have used like ChatGPT, Claude, any of these AI programs. Okay, so every day they get smarter because every day they're fed, I don't know, trillions of terabytes of data every day. So every day they're getting better and better and better. You don't necessarily need digital employees anymore, I would say, because AI can do most of that work. So if you're going to get, like, say, an accountant, maybe it's good to have an accountant check your accounting every so often just to, make 100% sure. But nowadays, you can have AI do your accounting. I'm still saying you guys need to understand the basics so you can see, like, okay, this makes sense or this doesn't make sense, which we're going to teach you here shortly. But AI is getting that powerful. And they have what's called AI agents, which is like a person online, and you say, this is your task. You do the accounting. You describe the task, and that thing can access your emails, your Google Drive, your calendar, your to-do list, everything. It can code inside your computer. Innovation, stay innovative and keep looking for ways to improve your business and stand out from the competition. Sounds a little cheesy, but it is true. You always have to be thinking, okay, what's next? How can I improve this? Because you look at something like Apple, they're always doing something cutting edge, experimental, controversial, removing the USB ports from their laptops. You're like, was that a good idea? We're talking about it. It's an idea that a lot of people did imitate in the end. And USB-C is coming in, and Apple is a big part of that. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with Johnny Kim. He's an interesting person. He was a Navy SEAL, Harvard doctor, Harvard, not just any medical school. He was a pilot as well. He's one of only 11 surgeon doctors who are also pilots in history. And he's an astronaut. So you might think, oh, this guy, come on, man. But I listened to a podcast, it's like real long, like 4 hours, with him on it, and he's basically just a completely normal guy. He sounds completely normal. He's just like, all I did was I said, I'm going to be a SEAL, and I navigated to that. And then I said, he was a medic in the SEALs, so all of it's kind of linked together. And then he said, okay, I'm going to be the medic in the SEALs, but then I'm going to do the doctor thing. And the military paid for it with the GI Bill. And then he says, okay, I'm going to also fly. I guess, I don't know where that kind of came in. And then he's going to, okay, I'll be a doctor for astronauts. So he connected all of them. So it all fits together. I'm not gifted. I'm not smarter than everybody else. I'm not stronger. I just have the ability to stick to a plan and not quit. That's all it is, guys. Just stick to the plan, navigate it. Oh, here's a little challenge. Here's a little unknown. Here's an annoying government form I got to fill out. You just don't quit. Eventually you will arrive at the success point. All right, let's take a 10-minute break here, guys. If you guys have any questions for me, lay it on me. Or you can just take a break. I am here.
You said you sold a farm or a business?
Yeah, I sold the farm. I sold the farm, yeah. Like the physical property.
I mean acres.
It was one. Yeah, small. But honestly, with hydroponic, that's the thing, because you can turn over the crops so many times a year, you don't need a lot of space. Because you control the nutrients, you control, in some cases, the lighting. Ours was outside, but in San Diego, you're getting a lot of direct light. So you control the lighting, you control every aspect. So let's say in the ground, you could only do 2 rotations or something of that plant, right? Harvest it, plant again, grow it up, harvest it. In hydroponic setup, you might be able to do 6, 12. That's why marijuana growers use hydroponic systems. They kind of perfected the system, honestly.
That's what they use.
Yep.
That's why I couldn't grow it in my outside garden, huh?
It's so tough.
Why is it?
It will be, you can smoke it, but it will have very little effect. It's like
it
wild
came out,
weed.
When I tried to clip it, it
Yeah.
didn't really work out that way. It's kind of like, that's the only thing I can't grow because I tried to grow it outside.
Do it hydroponically.
I need to.
Yep.
I think I'm going to change everything.
But
Yeah.
Why is it legal to buy marijuana and illegal to grow it?
Well,
No,
you can grow it now. You got to have like a scientist on staff. It's complicated
Well,
to test it.
You can get your license. Like I have my license to grow a certain amount, but not sell it. I can't sell it.
Interesting.
But you kid, like I have my medical marijuana license, so I
But you only
can
can
grow
grow
up
a
to
certain amount of
amount.
Like 6 plants or something like that. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, no, there are
I actually
businesses.
in Riverside County.
There are business. Oh wow, Riverside. Yeah, it's like whatever you want. Uh, so yeah, there are businesses that can sell it, but the requirements are really, really stringent. Now mushrooms, I saw mushroom, like magic mushroom chocolate bars just at a smoke shop, just like out. I was like,
Riverside County.
okay, that's at Riverside. They're the innovators. That's where it's coming from. They're just like whatever you want, just do it all. So maybe that's a market to get
A friend
into.
come to me this weekend and he said he wanted to grow saffron.
Yeah, very, very valuable.
Very, very. I mean,
Hard to grow.
That's the problem.
Extremely.
Okay. I'm like, it was that simple.
Yeah,
It
no.
would be so expensive.
Maybe hydroponically you could do it though, actually. Might be a little easier. Not sure. It's grown in Afghanistan and Iran. They got like special area, ground, climate they grow it in. You could research it though. American grown saffron might be a cool market.
I do have a question.
Yes.
Like, because like I teach kids how to do like the little like grow their own vegetables.
Yeah.
But since I've been in this class, because I'm getting ready to start the class though, because a lot of the kids I teach on weekends, they're out for the summer, like summer vacation. But I'm like, it making me rethink like my whole business model
Yeah.
of teaching, because I'm like the smaller greenhouses for kids, because a lot of the kids, when I did the growing last time, a lot of the kids, because they're not really paying attention to what they're growing,
Right.
and a lot of them, because the kids I teach, I start at age 4.
Oh wow.
Because it keeps them out in front of,
Yeah, exactly.
and that's my whole motto. I try to break generational curses.
Keep them off a screen.
Yeah. Off the screen, and also keep the parents, instead of just saying go play with your TV, it keeps the parents to raise their kids as well.
That's a good idea.
So,
Yeah, go play in your garden.
Because my degree is psychology too.
Oh, interesting.
So working with the people in San Diego, we saw a lot of the kids, they repeated gang activities. So my motto was like a 360. So the reason, if you use a formula, so putting your hand in the soil, if you start from a young age, the kids actually changing the aspect of the parents by teaching the parents and stuff. So with that, if you do like a small greenhouse, or even in boxes, maybe
Yeah, you can do raised boxes. Exactly. That is soil.
But I guess for me, what I'm thinking is, with water so high, is there a way that you could do have a water system where the water is repopulated in? Is there a way, or is there a system like that somewhere?
So some of it has to be absorbed, right? Some of it has to into the plant. So that's a little bit gone right there. But if you look up,
Is there a pump or something?
Yeah.
Like a small pumping system that we're not using so much water?
Yeah, there are systems like that, right, where it captures the excess water and then it just renutriizes, I don't know, put nutrient back in it, sends it back over again, then sends it back over again. Look up NFT hydroponic system, and then you'll see one that recaptures, like, I think it uses like 90-something% less water.
Okay.
Yep. So it does exactly that. Recaptures it, adds nutrients, I think adds oxygen again, pumps it back through again and again and again. Yep. Yeah, that's a very good question.
Are you going to teach us the value points of making any product? I mean, even with NFT, you still got to buy nutrients. And the nutrients cost pretty good money.
Yeah, I do.
So if he's selling a tomato, and it's like, okay, why are you selling a tomato? And you can go get like 20 tomatoes from Roma Tomatoes for like $1.
Right. You think, how is this a business? Who's making money here?
Who's making money on this?
Yeah. I wonder the same thing, honestly. Yeah. We will talk about, what's better, absolutely. But it does seem like Roma Tomatoes is not a good business model.
Beans,
Yeah, I know what you mean. You think like
these cheap things, like you spend so much time in the garden.
just even
grow
plucking
these
them.
things,
Yeah, and
trying to grab them off yeah, the labor goes into it. Like you said, labor is the biggest cost.
Mm-hmm.
How do you go about choosing a product that makes money? Because I can't see nobody making money off beans.
I don't understand it
That's
either.
$1 per pound.
I know.
And that's a whole 2 days.
But they must be, because otherwise they wouldn't exist, I would think, right? It's like they must be making money. Otherwise, why would they keep doing it? I don't understand it either. I would love to go to one of those businesses that, yeah, the 20 Roma tomatoes for $1 or whatever. And they got their brand on them and everything. You're like, this is a company. If it's coming from Mexico, that might make a little more sense. You know, $1's worth a little bit more down there for sure. I would look at where it's coming from. Now they're hurting on that. You're right. Yeah. No, it's been equalized almost. I know, guys. Yeah. So that's a perfect example, though. You go to the grocery store, you say, okay, I'm not going to grow Roma tomatoes because look at that, right? So there must not be a need. You say, okay, maybe something like coffee grown in America. That's cool. That's a unique market because most coffee comes from South America and Africa.
You can't grow coffee in America.
What about hydroponically, where you can control the environment, right? The moisture, the lighting in a hydroponic system. There you could, because coffee's like a bushy tree. It's like maybe like gets like this, so it's not too big. It's not like a full tree, you know what I mean? That would go through the roof of the greenhouse. You could look. You could look into it. Hop, yeah, hop's a good one.
You said that, I make my own liquor. I make everything.
There you go.
When you said that, I was just like, damn.
Perfect.
You really took my mind. I don't sell it. Look, I'm just saying, but
A little moonshine there.
Sure you don't.
no,
Yeah.
no, it's not moonshine. But actually, it's a way around it. You don't have to sell.
You didn't bring us a bottle yet. You can pay everybody a bottle.
Yeah, let's see how it is. See if it's any good.
Test it out.
Test that product.
Fast mate. Lady.
Got to see if that, yeah, see if that's a good business model or not. We're just doing our research here. You guys good to keep going?
Yeah.
Okay. This next part is shorter. Just FYI. I don't even know what time is it here. 9:30? Yeah, we got plenty of time. Perfect. All right. Accounting. I know a lot of you might be thinking, ugh, math, numbers, not my favorite. Me neither, guys. When I first got into business, I thought, accounting, numbers, math, I'm going to pass that off to my business partner. I'm going to hand that to somebody else. This was before AI was so powerful. But I learned over time that accounting, math, it's such an interesting language because if you do it correctly, it will only give you the correct answer. So it kind of will never lie to you as long as, of course, you're using the language correctly. So I learned to really appreciate it. It tells you the truth about your business. If you're making money, where you're spending too much money, the labor costs are this much, the taxes are this much. But if you're not capturing all that information, then you'll have no idea where your money is coming from and where it's going. Because you might see, oh, I have 50% return customers, something like that. That's really good. You say, okay, but how do I get it so I'm reaching more people? The return customer is amazing. They're saying, I love this product, I'm going to keep coming back. I mean, that's a great percentage for any business. But you say, okay, now I need to reach new people. But if you aren't keeping your accounting organized, you would have never known that little tidbit. And then you could even do something like, okay, this person has come in 30 times or whatever. I'm going to give them something and say, I notice, I pay attention. They're like, wow, you noticed, you know. Thank you so much. Financial fundamentals. Know your financial risk tolerance. So when you're starting a business or any new endeavor where you're spending money, you got to get your family in on it, because when you're not making money, obviously you have a certain set of problems. But when you do start making money, like I know you all will, be successful entrepreneurs here, you do start making money, you have another set of problems. People can kind of change their behavior to you. If you had kind of a loose agreement that was never written down, something along those lines, and you got to say, all right, I got a house to lose here that I own, or I got this to lose that I own, or I have 2 kids that I'm responsible for, etc. So you have to know how far you're willing to go, like how much you can lose. You can only lose money to a certain point when you say, all right, that was a good experience. I'm going to try something else, and I'm going to go back to the drawing board. I'm going to start saving again. But you don't want to lose everything, obviously, right? And starting a business, I can tell you from experience, Before you know it, it's consuming everything, all your time. Because it's limitless, right, guys? It's not like a job. You go to a job, you do your job, okay, for 8 hours a day, whatever it is, and then you go home and maybe you don't even think about it at all. Maybe you don't have to. With this, it never ends. You can always make one more dollar. You can always sell one more product, always create something else with a business. It's endless. You can turn that business into another business. Look at Elon Musk. He's got multiple businesses. You know, they're doing like one's going to Mars, one's making cars. It's like, it's endless. Okay, so that's why you have to sit down and think, okay, I need to keep my day job. I need to keep making this amount of money, and I can only lose this amount of money. You got a plan. Once I lose that, it's kind of like gambling. once I lose that amount of money, I'm going home. Okay, you can't say, oh, no, I'm just going to if I just do a little bit more, I can do it. No, you got to have a cutoff, guys.
You can't have creative accounting?
With that.
No, you got that cutoff.
Yeah.
Elon Musk does
Creative,
that.
yeah, well, man.
That's creative accounting.
He got the money.
They're so big, exactly. When you get that big, they're just making up the rules. Yeah.
You see your president was bankrupt. And go there, you
Yeah, everybody else got a...
Different rules when when you make that much money, different rules. Yep, the rules don't apply to you. Funding your business. We talked about it a little bit already, but you have to know, where's this money going to come from? Is it going to come from a line of credit, like a credit card? That's okay. Maybe you got to run up a balance on the credit card a little bit to start your business. Are you going to take out a loan? Are you going to try to save some money? If so, that's where cutting costs in your personal life would really benefit you. You don't need the 5 streaming services. You don't need the brand new car, whatever it is. If you have money coming in from like retirement, disability, things that are tax-free, you might say, okay, I'm usually spending it freely because, well, I don't have to really think about it too much. It's constant. It comes in no matter what. So maybe you say, all right, let me try to take $1,000 off of that I was spending on eating out, whatever, and let me put that in this savings account. And then once I reach $12,000, $1,000 each month for a year, then I'm going to start the farmer's market stand. Understand how your legal business can affect your taxes and liability. We talked about this a little bit already, and the reason why I say it again is because I have learned from personal experience how much that can affect you. I basically will say chose the wrong business structure, or when I first started the business, it was the right business structure for that period of the business. But then later, once I was making money, it was not the right business structure anymore. Basically what happened was I was getting paid, like all of the money that was entering the business was seen as wages, like as if it's wages directly to me. But that's not the reality of money entering the business. A lot of it has to go to other things. We got to pay the electricity bill with that, got to pay labor with that. So I was taxed as if all of the money was wages. So 100% of the money that entered the business, for the most part, was taxed as wages. Wages about 20%. You know, you got your Medicare, Medicaid, unemployment, all that. And if I would have structured the business correctly, I could have reduced that down from 100% of the money entering the business is taxed as wages down to about 20% of the money. Yeah, I could have. That's what I was doing. I was doing a basic structure that's not set up for making money, pretty much. That's basically set up just to get the business off the ground. So that's an example from my personal experience. It was about $25,000 that I didn't have to spend, just like that, just to the IRS, just $25K, poof, like that, boom. You must be on top of the numbers basically daily. This is another thing that I know I'm repeating a lot, how important accounting is. But you want to at least be checking them just to make sure, all right, everything makes sense, everything's going in the right direction. And nowadays you can have AI, you can talk to it, hey, give me a summary of today's accounting transactions. Boom, it will give it to you. So you don't even have to click, you don't even have to think, you just say a few words and then the AI accountant will tell you what the numbers are looking like for today. Limit fixed expenses. What is a fixed expense, guys? Can somebody tell me a fixed expense example?
Yes.
What is it?
Your house bill.
House, yeah, that's the perfect. Because it doesn't matter if you lose your job, right? You got to still pay the mortgage. That's what the bank's expecting. They're not like, oh, no problem. We'll just put a hold on that. You lost your job. That's okay. No. Car note, same thing. Fixed expenses, they're coming no matter what. They don't care if you're making money, no money, doesn't matter. So you want to limit those because obviously in the beginning, we're in the startup phase, we're not probably making money. So if we're spending money and not making money, eventually we're going to run out of money. So if you say, I'm gonna rent this office space, maybe you could accomplish what your goals are without the office space in the beginning. I'm gonna build this commercial kitchen so I can make my guacamole. Maybe you could just rent a commercial kitchen space instead of build one, because building is going to cost millions. Renting might just be $20 an hour or something like that. So you always want to think, all right, is there a way that I can still accomplish this, what I need to accomplish, this goal, which is making my guacamole, without spending that amount of money? So you say, this is my goal, and then these are kind of my options in accomplishing it. Which one will not become a fixed expense, like renting? Oh, I'm done with the hour, I don't have to pay anymore. Focus on customer acquisition. If you don't have customers, guys, you don't have a business, right? Somebody's got to buy your stuff, your service eventually. They got to say, here's my money, and there you go. And eventually you will have your first customer. Pretty exciting when that happens, and they say, I'm going to get this thing, and I'm going to give you the money. And they just don't, they're like, whatever, it's another thing that I'm buying. They don't know, but it will be a big deal to you, very important. So you want to think, all right, what will that first interaction look like? Who could this person be? Where could it occur? How can I have more of those interactions? And you want to run this by, of course, your classmates, Tony, basically whoever else will listen to your idea and see if, is this something you would be willing to pay for? If they're like, absolutely not, or I already get a really good one, I don't need yours, this is my favorite, you think, okay. You're trying to build a phone, maybe not the best market to get into, right? The phone market is a little bit cornered. And then the last bullet point there just says employees, and that's because employees can be the, I guess, life or death of the business. So obviously you need other people to grow. It's very hard to grow alone, although we do have the example of the AI guy, $1 million weight loss drugs, and then the $1 billion one, I can't remember what type of business that was. But you'll probably need employees, especially for farming, right? It's not a dang AI job, physical job. And when you get them, they have rights. They have to receive breaks. They have to receive a certain amount of pay. And all of that HR regulation can get quite complicated quickly. They need workers' comp insurance. So just think, all right, if I can work with my friends, work with my family, if you can kind of push off employing people as long as possible, that's what you want to do. Because employing people, that's like a job in itself, all right? So just, you've been warned. They have rights, they need breaks, they need certain pay, so there's a lot that comes with employing people. Oh, I can't use that. Maybe I could, I don't know. The language of business. Accounting is the language that measures, processes, and communicates financial information. Finance, using that information to make smart decisions about money. The golden rule, what gets measured gets managed. What that means, if you're accounting for it, as in you're tracking it, and you are writing it down, you're capturing it somewhere, that information, then you can manage it. You can control it. You can say, okay, I can make these adjustments, make these adjustments. But if you're not tracking it, like I keep saying, there's no way you can control what it's doing. 5 pillars of accounting. An asset is what you own. Can somebody give me an example of an asset, what that could look like?
You have your house or your car, right?
Exactly, yep. If it's the businesses, of course, and if you own it, yep. Because if you have debt, yeah, exactly. Then it could still be seen as an asset because you might have equity in it, you might have made a lot of car payments.
Well, I'd say, like in my case, my smokers.
Yes, exactly. That's a good example. Yep, because without the smokers,
I can't cook.
can't cook. So smoker is definitely an asset, and it costs a decent amount of money. A liability is what you owe. So you would say, you could say the house can be both, right? It's kind of, it depends on where it is. Yeah, it depends on where it's at in the kind of payment cycle there. Equity is what's left. That's the owner's share. So we'll talk about that in a second. Revenue is what you earn. So when we hear the word revenue, we might think, ooh, money for me, profit in my pocket. No, revenue is just the money that enters the business. That doesn't mean that all of that you get to keep. Because think, the money comes in from all the sales of my whatever product, and then I have to pay my employees. I got to pay my electricity bill. I got to pay my car note, etc. So then what's left over, that becomes the actual profit / equity. So don't, I know it's like, man, what is this language? There's so many terms. Is this necessary? You kind of got to understand the language of business because you're going to see these terms way more once you start your business. Expenses, what you spend. So you go to your Home Depot, you get your nails, you get some rubber gloves, you get some trash bags. Those are all expenses because you spent money on them and they're not an asset. They're something that will eventually kind of be consumed, will be used up. You might get like a generator there and you pay for it and it's worth a couple $1,000s. You say, okay, that's not an expense. I did spend money on it, but that goes in this asset category because that's very valuable. And I want to retain that. And if I don't have that, I cannot operate my business. Equation to live by. Assets equals liabilities plus equity. That's the balance sheet formula. What is a balance sheet? I believe that's next. Can I use the remote, Tony, to change it? I could just try it. Just get in there and just, nope, it doesn't look like it. I feel like I could if, I'll mess with it more later. All right, so must know financial statements as promised. So again, guys, with these financial statements, they don't do themselves. If you're doing the accounting correctly, you're tracking everything correctly, then you'll be able to generate very accurate financial statements with the click of a button. So everything's going smoothly inside the accounting software. I say, I want to generate a balance sheet. What is it? It's a document that appears on your screen that tells you a snapshot of what you own and owe at a moment in time. So you can say, all right, today, what do I own? Okay, I got the tractor, I got the smokers, I got the generator, perfect. What do I owe? I got the loan that I took out from the USDA. I got the car that I haven't paid for that's for the business. So obviously that's beneficial to know. So you can start planning. You can say, all right, well, but in a few months I will have paid off that loan and that will be an extra $1,000 or whatever it is that I will not be spending anymore. Number 2, income statement, also referred to as a profit and loss statement or P&L. This is they're all very important, but this is the statement that really reflects the health of your business. So if somebody's looking at a business to invest in and they're an experienced investor, somebody's looking at a business to buy, this is, I would say, the priority statement. Tracks revenue versus expenses over time. So you can say, all right, this is the money that entered the business over the last 6 months. Boom, we got the top line, revenue, money that entered the business, all right? But then we got expenses. We got to subtract the gloves. We got at Home Depot. We got to subtract the nails. We got at Home Depot and the trash bags. And we got to subtract, boom, 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 all the way down to now we can see how much we actually made. But if you're not accounting for everything, then you might think a different number is your profit. And you, okay, perfect. And then another bill comes and you don't have the money to pay for it. That's why the profit and loss statement is so important, because it will tell you exactly what money is entering the business, what money is exiting the business, and then what is left over. Number 3, cash flow statement. Shows how money moves in and out. I know you're probably thinking like, oh, that sounds like it's the P&L. It has some parts of it, but it is a little bit different because it doesn't care about really expenses, like, okay, that was nails, not important. It doesn't really care, okay, that was labor. It just shows overall how money is entering and how money is exiting. That one is kind of, I've always thought that's basically captured in the other two, but when you generate it, you see the 3 side by side, there's some benefit to being able to see the cash flow statement. Like, I would say actually, the example that I gave earlier, that is the example that I should have given for the cash flow statement of you're paying your loan $1,000 a month and you can project out, okay, in 2 months, I won't have to pay that loan anymore, so that will be the extra $1,000. So that's something very beneficial to know, right? Because maybe you're $1,000 away from being able to pay yourself. So you're like, oh, that 1,000 is mine. Key, profit not equal to cash. So what is that? The profit, like the money that's left over after you go through, we got the revenue coming in, then we expense, okay, this is what's left over. That doesn't equal like cash that's available to you, because some of that might be going to a projected liability, or it's on the next slide, I know. What is it? Accounts payable. So you might have a promised payment that you need to make that money is set aside for. So it doesn't necessarily equal cash that's available to you. Next. Business Finance 101, the break-even point. This is what we were referencing before, how much you must sell to cover costs. So you have to project out in time, this is the amount of money that I can spend, that I have available, and like gambling, once I reach that number, I swear I'm not going to put my car note out there. I will not do it. I'm not going to sell my watch. I'm not going to sell my phone, right? So you get to that number and you have to say, we got to call it there. So how much you must sell to cover costs. Money's going out, you're spending money. You need to know, all right, I got to sell 100 of these kale bunches, pound each, for this dollar amount in order to break even. Got to get to the break even point, of course, before you get to the profit point. So, all right, I know I need to grow 100 of these, sell 100 of these, and then I will have covered all my costs and I will not be losing any money. Margin, profit on each sale. This, again, is going back to the P&L statement. You'll be able to see what your margin is for each product, for each service. Let's say you're selling a glass bottle of Coke and you're buying them down in Mexico for like they're $1 a piece or something like that. You get in a big box. You bring them to America, you're selling them for like $5 a piece because people think, ooh, it's in the glass, it's classic, it tastes better, it's from Mexico, it's real sugar. So that has a really good margin because you bought it for a low price and you sold it for a high price. Let's say you discover, all right, this tomato is like as easy to grow as a Roma tomato, but it is not $1 for 20. It's you could do like, I don't know, one, let's say it's an heirloom variety, unique colors, unique flavor. One is $6 or something like that. You would say, well, it's like almost the same process as growing those Roma tomatoes that were $1 for 20, but I'm charging $6. Good margins on that. Higher margin equals stronger business. Yep. So if you have a lot of products that have a good margin on them, as in you're spending very little to make a decent amount, better business. You might in the beginning discover that, all right, this product at this volume is not working for me. The example we gave earlier, like corn, like cotton, those commodity crops, you might say, in order to make any money, I got to have like 1,000 acres of these things, and I got to get subsidized by the government. Cash flow management. Always know how much cash you have and when bills are due. And that, again, goes back to the profit versus cash point, because you always need to know at the end of the month, usually these cycles happen monthly, how much money is going out. I'm sure we've all been in the unfortunate position. We get to the end of the month, we're like, yes, I got all this money in my bank, and then, oh, this charge that I forgot about hit my bank account, and oh, I don't have as much as I thought. Or you forget about your car payment, you forget about your rent, etc. So you always need to be able to project that out, how much cash you have, and how much you're going to need to have in the next week, next month, to cover the bills. Debt versus equity financing, borrow debt versus sell ownership equity to grow. This is a somewhat convoluted concept, but I'll break it down into, I would say, 3 categories. You got your business. I'm going to do the farm. I already registered it. I got my business plan. Arches Institute, we're Mandrake, we're doing it. Dan gave the business class. I need money. So you go to a family member. I'm starting this business. You pitch them, business plan, presentation. They say they're interested. They're going to invest, you need $10,000. They're going to invest $10,000. And in return, they want 50% of your business, something like that. So you're splitting it half and half. You say, well, without that $10,000, I can't really start the business. So that might be worth 50% of the business because otherwise I'm going to have zero business. Of course, you can negotiate with them. You could say, well, I'm doing all the work. I have the business plan. I went to all the classes. I'll give you 25%, something along those lines. Maybe they say, okay, I'll do the 25% for the 10 grand, but then additionally, once you have profit, I'm going to look over your books and I want a percentage of the profit as well. So now we're getting kind of layered equity financing here. So they're getting 25% of the business ownership and they're getting a percentage of the profits that, of course, you both hope will happen. I like the percentage of the profits a lot because then they got skin in the game, right? Then they're really invested in the success of the business, basically as much as you are. Maybe their percentage is a little less, but either way, they still want money, right? So they'll care more. They might be able to assist you in some ways. You need help one day, they're probably going to help because they're like, oh, I don't want her to not make it to the farmer's market because then they won't sell. I'll help them, whatever it may be, harvest, fix their flat tire. So that is my favorite probably way to finance is the percentage of the profit because then they're really engaged.
So that's like a Shark Tank.
Yeah, that's exactly.
So like if you pitching your business, it's like I give you 20% of it with a 10% of my profit.
Yep. And then the last part, the third layer, is they'll have some control over the business. Because just because they have a percentage of the business, in this example 25%, and just because they're getting a percentage of the profits doesn't necessarily mean that they have 25% of the decision making, which wouldn't really make sense because there's just two people. So it's like you got 75%, you always make the decisions. So you have to decide, all right, when we're making decisions, how do we vote? That's what it's called. How do we vote here? Well, we got only two people, so basically you, the owner and founder, will make the majority of the decisions. But you could also say maybe you got three people, so it's got to be democratic. 2 out of the 3 make the decisions. Maybe it's 5 people. Maybe you got your whole family on the business registration. So that's a third aspect of financing, is what control they will have over the business. Maybe you're like, I love them, I'm happy that they invested with me, but I don't want them to have any decision making in the business, right? So maybe you say, not that. Mindset of a financially smart business owner, I'm sure you will be this. Always track the numbers. Ignorance is death. This is something you can start in your personal life right now, guys. Maybe you don't want to do it, but you should. Look at your credit report. Look at your credit card statements. Look at how much you're paying in interest. Look at how much your interest rate for your car note is, etc. So you look at, all right, this is my financial profile for the last 3 months, you could say. All right, I'm spending a lot on eating out. I'm using that example because that's my vice. So I'm trying to work on it. So I'm sharing it with you. So I'll work on it. If you see me eating out, no, just slap that food out of my hand. So you can start this today in your personal life, looking at, all right, what costs can I cut? And with the credit report, a lot of people think, oh no, my credit report, my credit score is in the single digits. I can never get a loan. I have a bankruptcy. I have a foreclosure, whatever it is. That's not true, guys. Now, I'm not saying that you can just snap your fingers and fix it, but you can start working on it. The credit bureaus, they all have somebody on staff who you can call who can help you work on your credit report. They'll say, all right, let's write a letter to this company and see if they'll remove it. All right, let's negotiate this payment, because they're required to do that from the government. So the government makes them have a person on staff who can help you. Probably a lot of people, probably a department. But so you just call them up. The only thing that is wrong in this decision or in this situation is just ignore it, right? If you're chipping away at it, making phone calls, sending emails, you're taking action, you feel like I have some control over this situation, I'm taking action, that is what you can do. That's the best thing to do. Profit is not evil, like we said before, it's survival. So the business is like a living organism. You feed it profit, or you feed it money, that's its fuel. Without it, not a business, just a hobby. Cash is king, growth eats cash fast. When you're expanding, so your business is succeeding, you have money coming in, you say, okay, I don't want to stay at this level because I'm not making a lot of money, I've kind of hit my ceiling, I need to expand. How do you expand? You're going to do 2 farmers markets, 3 farmers markets, whatever it may be. Got to buy more tents, got to buy more of this, got to employ people. So that money can go pretty quickly. So a lot of times what you'll see in businesses that fail, I don't like to say failure because it's all just a learning experience. You fail faster, you fail forward, so you're failing, but you're learning as you go. So let's say you have a failed business. A lot of times you'll see kind of this step that happens where they hit a level and they are able to expand. Okay, we made it to that. Then we're trying to make the next step. Maybe just barely made it, maybe took out some loans, etc. They go for the next step, maybe open in 4 locations, 5 locations, and they just can't make it because they don't have the underlying systems organized. They didn't have the cash available that they thought. Managing 1 of something is completely different than managing 5 of something. So why am I giving you that example? Like we said earlier, we're starting with the end in mind. We're making a plan. So you have to say to yourself, all right, when I hit this point, I need to be able to go past it to get to my goal. Because there will be a point where you'll be making enough money, where you'll be comfortable, but you'll say, this isn't really why I'm in it. I got to get further. And that's when you might need an investment. That's when it's good that you've been saving your money and not spending it outlandishly on like mansions and private jets. Invest in assets, not just expenses. An asset, like we said earlier, that's something that the business basically must have in order to function. Smoker, vehicle, generator. The way that the IRS kind of says what an asset is over $1,000, and it has a continuous life cycle for a while. So you might say a laptop costs around $1,000. You do need it to operate the business. You might put that as an asset. Why is that important to invest in assets, not expenses? Because assets increase the value of the business, and they also are able to decrease your taxable liability. So exactly, you can depreciate an asset. You say, okay, yesterday it was worth this amount of money, but today it's worth this much. It's worth a little bit less and a little bit less. Because as we know, buy a brand new computer for $1,000, the day you open it up, not worth $1,000 anymore. So if you're trying to sell your business and you have no assets, basically none, and all just expenses, they're going to say like, what exactly am I buying then?
You gotta hide.
Yeah, exactly. If you have a lot of assets and they're producing, you got 10 tractors out there tilling the field and you're making, I don't know, all this money off your kale, okay, that's a business that you could sell because somebody can pick up those assets and continue. Read financials monthly. You want to generate those financial statements that we referenced earlier at least once a month, typically towards the end of the month, just so you're prepared for like what's coming next month. Another mantra here, if you can't measure it, you can't improve it. So if you can't measure it, you can't manage it. If you can't measure it, you can't improve it. Because let's say that Coke doesn't have that sweet, delicious, sugary margin that we wanted, and we're losing money on it. Well, we wouldn't know that if we're not measuring it. We say, got to take the Coke off the menu. We're going to switch something else that has a higher margin there. But you wouldn't have known that if you weren't tracking it. When we say accounting, when we say our accounting software, what we're really talking about visually is a chart of accounts. So when you look at it, it looks kind of like a database or a spreadsheet, pretty much. It will have, rows and columns, right? It will say, okay, this is the column category and this is the row. The row might be small tools and equipment. The row might be consumables like gloves and trash bags. A chart of accounts is an index of all the financial accounts in the general ledger of a company. In short, it is an organizational tool that provides a digestible breakdown of all the financial transactions that a company conducted during a specific accounting period, broken down into subcategories. As long as you have your bank account connected to your accounting software, connected usually to, what's the other piece of this? Yeah, just start with those two. So you have your bank account connected to your accounting software, so you swipe your card, and the two speak to each other. The bank account talks to the accounting software. The accounting software says, oh, they just spent money at Home Depot again. I bet it will be categorized as this, because the software is getting so intelligent now, it can categorize everything for you. And then it will prompt you, a little notification maybe on your app, hey, you just made this purchase at Home Depot. Is it in this category? You say, well, half of it was small tools and equipment, but the other half was consumables because I bought gloves and trash bags. So the two categories are not the same, because small tools and equipment, you might use that shovel forever. The gloves might be gone in a week. So they need to be categorized differently. So that's all it is. It's just rows and columns. That's what the accounting software looks like a spreadsheet or a database. The one that we use and is really widely used is called QuickBooks. That's probably the most widely used accounting software. And there's another one, Xero, Xero, that's also supposed to be pretty good. Those are the only two that I'm familiar with. QuickBooks does, honestly, it does too much. It does so much. It's like, you see it and you're like, oh, it's a lot.
It's a monthly subscription though.
Yeah, that's how they get you now. Yeah, you used to buy it. Exactly. And then upgrade. Yeah, that's how they're getting you, is the monthly subscriptions. Quicken. Okay, got it. I thought that was only for taxes for some reason, but that is accounting software. Yeah, so that's another good one too. So do your research on the accounting software. Maybe you find one that's specifically for what you're doing, maybe for farming, your industry, and that might work better. Because QuickBooks, dang, does too much. It's got too many options. You're just like overwhelmed by it. So, but it is very common. It's like what everybody uses. So it communicates with everything. Here's some examples of what those lines will be. Cash, accounts receivable, that's money that you're waiting to receive. You say, okay, they're going to pay me in 14 days this money, but they haven't paid me yet. So you're tracking that there. You got to be tracking, obviously, who owes you what. Very important. Just as important as you tracking how much you owe other people. Loans payable, and you want to have that organized into what's the principal balance, what's the interest that they're charging me. Because a lot of times with loans, they'll structure it in ways that I guess you wouldn't think they would, where they'll put all the interest up front, basically. So you're paying all the interest on the loan in the beginning so that they receive all the interest. Boom, they're like, good, we made our money off that one. And then you're actually paying the principal amount. So you got to be careful with these things, guys. When you're taking out anything, loan, credit card, you got to read the fine print. You got to read the contracts. You have to ask questions, because don't make any assumptions in business. I've learned no assumptions. Sales, that's another line. How much you're selling of what? We're selling 100 pounds, 1 pound each of our kale. Purchases, payroll expenses, those are broken out as well into taxes, wages, many different categories for payroll expenses. So that will be kind of a subheader, subsection, and then underneath that will be like taxes for employees, wages, something else, insurance maybe. Owner's equity and retained earnings. That is the money that's left over combined with the value of the assets that transitions from one year to the next. So you're tracking all that. All right, we got this much money in the business. We got this many assets that are valued at this. The end of the year comes, it's still there in the next year. So we start that year with those assets and with the retained earnings that you have not removed from the business. Again, guys, I learned that the hard way as well. You got to be frugal. You got to watch every penny. You got to pinch those pennies when it comes to business, because in your personal life you might have a couple fixed expenses, your rent, your car payment, whatever it may be. But in business, you can get up to, we've had, I mean, I'm talking about thousands of transactions a day, thousands going in and out. So, like, how do you track that? And that can add up quickly. You got $1 kind of that shouldn't be there on 1,000 transactions a day, $1,000 a day that you're not tracking, accounting for correctly. So you're like, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to be on Shark Tank. I'm riding my little yellow bike up to Shark Tank. But then what really happens? You know, you got, what is this? Your bike's on fire. There's a shark pit in the mountains. You're going to get hit by lightning. Basically, guys, there's a lot of weird things that you'll be doing that you wouldn't expect when you start a business. Filling out some government form. You're like, I don't even know what they're asking. Why is the print so small? Just a lot of weird things that you would never have thought of that you did not get into business to do. You didn't get into business to fill out all this government paperwork, but you have to do it. So you say, all right, what's my goal at the end? My goal at the end is I own this. I make this much money. This is my goal. All right, well, this is something that I have to do on the way to my goal, so I'll do it. So on and so forth. Does anybody have any questions here before we go our separate ways for today?
Today we have AI. AI makes most of this stuff really understandable.
And it gets better every day. Yep. It's pretty incredible.
Any form online.
What's that?
We fill out any form.
Yeah, exactly.
Put it straight into AI and say, teach me like I'm 5.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say like, okay, rely completely on AI, but we're just seeing real world examples of a one-person $1 million business, two people $1 billion business. How are they doing it? They say, without AI, I would have never been able to do it. So it's powerful, and it's getting more powerful as we speak. Something to understand, something to definitely understand and be aware of. Not saying that rely on AI 100% for your business, but it's a valuable tool. Why not use it? All right, guys. That's that. Nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thanks for paying attention. I know it's a lot of information. But again, you'll have the presentation with you. You'll reference it when you need it in the future. Mr. Latner, do you have anything for them?
Yeah, we got one more thing to do.
Perfect.
You guys have any questions for Dan? That good.
Or they're just like, don't let them talk anymore. No, no more.
We got this on me.com.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, guys. I want to do one more exercise before we cut loose and beat the heat. Chris gave me an idea too that we're going to bring in AI to see if we can beat it. We probably won't.
Probably won't.
Probably won't.
Good luck.
It's okay, though. We're going to break up into groups. Like how we did the wall thing for the greenhouse. So the situation is this. We have a 3-story structure. That was 9,000 square feet. Obviously, it's going to be 3,000 feet per floor. And we want to convert this floor into a indoor growing area. All right. And one of the concerns I'm having right now is what size panel to put in. So there's no power in there right now. There's an old warehouse. So if we want to grow indoor on one floor, we need indoor lighting. And we remember we have LEDs and then lighting like this, which is we'll just call high intensity discharge lighting, or HID, which can be broken down into high pressure sodium and metal halide are the two varieties. HPS looks orange and metal halide looks blue when you see it lit. Obviously LEDs, what color are the LEDs?
White.
White.
We got them right here. And what color are they when they kicked on?
Red and blue, right?
It's like pink, right?
Pink.
Yeah, yeah, like a purple.
Yeah, but Brett said he hated those.
What's up?
Brett said he hated those.
Well, when it's almost free, I'll take them.
Yeah, pink.
So it's like pink. Well, it's a combination of red and blue, right? So And then what do we remember about the LEDs versus the HID lighting?
It's cheaper.
Yeah.
No,
Cheap?
Tire specs.
it's more expensive.
Which one?
The LEDs,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's more expensive.
but it lasts longer.
So more expensive. We get a longer life.
Yeah. Longer life and it helps the plant, huh?
Doesn't
So-
kill your eyes.
But when it comes to the problem that I'm trying to solve here on
Oh, yes.
average,
Cover more area?
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out if we
It's
run
cheaper
power
to
to the
run-
building,
It's cheaper to run LEDs.
Yeah.
cheaper in cost.
Yes.
Yeah, but I guess if I'm trying to figure out the solution for the amperage, so I'm gonna put in a panel into the building. What size do I put in? That's what we're trying to figure out. So we can actually compute, because when you buy a house, they usually have, what is it, either like 100 amps or 200 amps?
Yes.
Anybody own a home here?
I do.
No, I got that.
Either way, on your home, there's a fuse box on the back.
Yes.
It's got your breakers.
Mhm.
So it's usually 100 amp or 200 amps because the house doesn't really need more
But
than that
they
power.
only put LED lights in the houses, in the new houses now. A lot of them.
Okay. Good side note. But the idea is here, if I want to grow on one floor of the building, and I'm going to put in the power, how much power do I actually need for those lights? Is what we're going to try to solve here. So, LEDs, we know more expensive, but longer life. HID is less expensive and shorter life. But what's my main concern here if I'm trying to figure out what size panel to put into the warehouse?
Your space and your floor.
Kind of, but what am I, if I'm gonna put in, if I gotta flip a coin, LED or HID lighting, and I gotta put in all new power and wiring and so on, why would I care which one to go with?
Well, first of all, you need to worry about the cost for one.
No, I'm just thinking, I need to know what size panel to put in. So I'm gonna pay an electrician to put in a panel.
Mm-hmm.
So what do I need to know first?
How much power you need?
Yeah.
Exactly, how much power I'm gonna draw with all those lighting. So I need to know how many amps I'm gonna pull. Because if I'm gonna pull with LED 10 amps, HID is gonna pull 100 amps, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Because obviously that cost is gonna change and then the power that I need to put in. If I put in only 100 amps, but my HID light needs 300 amps, well, I'm kind of screwed. I gotta call the guy back out. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna figure out which one
gonna pull the most amps?
which one is going to pull the most amps and how many amps on that. So here's the kind of parameters that we're going to stick with to make it easy for everybody. So the spacing, one light is going to be spaced out per 8 by 8 square feet. So that's going to give me, what's 8 times 8?
64.
So every 64 feet, I'm going to have a light there. The LED, the spacing is a lot smaller. This is more like one light is going to be equal to, I want to say it's a 3 by 3 space. 3 by 3 space, which gives us 9 square feet. Now, this one, this will actually probably tell us how many amps. Well, we'll do this, we'll figure it out. So if this is pulling 600 watts. If I'm running, we'll say 240 volt, right? Because we like the 240 over the 120, right? Because it pulls less amps. We take the 600 watt bulb, which is in there, divide it by 240, and what do we get? That. We want an exact amount because we're going to be doing this a bunch of times.
It's gonna be 2.5.
So we're going to pull 2.5 amps per light. So our HID lighting, we're going to pull 2.5 amps per fixture. And let me see. Hey Dan, what's the is there a wattage on that LED light behind you? Up high, the red one.
Yeah, watts.
Have watts or volts on it?
165 watts max.
65 watts.
It says 165 watts max.
Okay, so if we're at 165 max, divide that by 240, and how many amps are we pulling?
So 165 divided by 240,
Pardon me, point something.
0.68.
So we'll say this one, LEDs are pulling we'll say 0.7 amps. So here, each LED is going to pull 0.7 amps per fixture. Alright. So we're actually working this out right now, so maybe this won't be a group project. So let's do this then. So if we have 3,000 square feet, and what do we do next to figure out how many fixtures that I'm gonna need?
Times 7.
Times 7, so you're saying times 7, which gives us 21,000 fixtures.
Yeah.
No.
No.
That's a lot.
Think again. I'm trying to light up 3,000 square feet. How do I figure out how many lights I gotta buy for the LED?
Mm.
If I have a 3,000 square foot space, I know one light covers 9 square feet. How do I figure out how many lights I need for 3,000?
Divided 3,000 by
Divided
9.
by
9.
9 square feet, and then what do you get?
300 and
Just a bunch of threes?
yeah,
Okay.
probably about
Yeah, yeah.
So 33.33?
333.33.
You got a decimal point there, so what's it?
Oh, I messed it up. It was 333.
Alright, someone else to double check the word.
33.33.
3,000 divided by 9.
333.33.
333? So we'll do
333.
334. So, 334 LED lights is what I need for one floor of the warehouse.
I see.
Alright? And then, can someone look me up a price for an LED? Does anybody got the laptop up?
Yeah.
So Todd, look up, we want an LED, search horticultural lighting, LED, 600 watt equivalent.
You're looking at about $750 each.
Each light?
600 watt?
Yeah, well, it's not gonna be it's a 600 watt equivalent because it's not actually gonna pull 600, but we want it to be equate to the same as the HID light. So you're saying 750?
Yeah, 836.
So
You don't want to get 1,200 of the other?
1200 watt.
Okay.
So what we're talking about?
Of the other lights. I'm just messing with you.
Okay, so budget hobbyist panels between 70 and 150, mid-range, dimmable 250 to 500, professional commercial grade 500 to 850.
So let's just say 700 price. So we need 334 lights. Our price is $700 a light. So what do we get for our total cost to light up one floor?
Wow. Let me check that again. So
240,800.
240,000. Dang. All right. Someone double check that for me.
Hold on.
I got
I got
233.
233.
233.
233,000.
Oh,
Yeah.
yep, I did 344.
All
Sorry.
right. Todd failed. Okay. So what's that price again, Martin?
233,000.
Okay. So
And
233,000.
800.
And 800.
800. 800 is our cost for LED lights for that one floor. So now let's do that for HID lighting. So, put a line up in here. So,
Versus?
yeah, we're gonna see which one gonna make us go bankrupt.
All right. So
Okay,
for
so this
that
one we
one,
get
HID.
74.
so for that one, I got
There's 64 lights. Hold that thought. So we have the 3,000 square feet. We divided by the 64, right?
And
So how many lights do we actually need?
I got 46.87.
Yeah.
46.
So 49.
49. Okay. 49 lights. Now, can someone give me a generic price for a 600 watt HID lighting?
You got these for what? 125?
Well, that was free through a
Oh,
donation. So
Well, it's
Hold on.
47
so
lights.
That's 47 lights. That's too
Yeah,
many
yeah.
lights. 47.
It's 46.9,
It's
so it would be
46.9.
47 lights.
Oh, 47.
All
47.
right, Chris is banned from answering. So how many lights?
47.
47.
You guys
We
are
missed it
gonna-
by
You
one.
guys gonna make me check your.
We
No, you
needed
missed
one extra just in case.
Shit.
Just in case one falls off the truck.
One falls off
So
the
47 lights. So Todd, look up 600 watt high pressure sodium light.
God, you finna feel this out right now?
Well, I'm trying to see if it'll work.
This is a real world.
This is a real application. We're
Yeah,
actually
we
looking
need
at it
to
properly.
know.
We're gonna know this is gonna work real
Yeah,
quick.
we're gonna use this.
It's on. We got it on tape.
So standard grow bulbs between $24 and $33. Commercial premium bulbs.
No, I want the whole fixture.
Fixture.
High pressure sodium.
Fixture.
Okay, turn it off. That was my one.
Okay.
So it'll probably be
Yeah.
I'd say around $500 probably.
The industrial streetlight fixture is between 150 and 300. Complete grow light fixtures 200 to 365.
Is that with ballast?
Add with ballast just to check.
Yeah, check with ballast because usually it's a sec.
I've never seen anyone roll feet square before. It's always SQFT.
Okay,
maybe.
commercial.
You can put on my feedback form because you got a lot of it, Chris. Every class, Chris got something in it.
Grow light system bundle.
Yeah, maybe that. That's it.
130 to 250. But commercial
still too
replacement ballast kits 170 to 360 replacement.
And we're just gonna say 400. So I feel like that's about the right price.
Yeah.
If it's $100, there's something out there.
It does say between a 600 watt high pressure sodium HPS fixture with a ballast typically costs between 130 and 400.
Yeah.
So 400?
Let's do 300. That seems to be the
You said 300?
yep 300. So $300.
So
So
14.
47 times the 300.
14,100.
Someone double check that.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
so
right.
14,100
That's significantly
Dollars.
cheaper.
for our lights. I wrote it small for some reason. I guess it's a small number.
Oh, that's a difference.
Huge difference in cost, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now let's see what is it going to cost us to run the lights because
Oh,
we got
wow.
it's cheaper for the lights,
Mm-hmm.
right, to buy them. But if I got to spend $300K to put in enough power to run them, then it's a problem.
Yeah.
So what we'll do is we have the amperage here. These what is it? 2.5 and 7. So we'll do it over here. So let's do this. Let's do it black. So change the thing here. So LED lighting, we needed 334 fixtures.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll do LED. So we needed 334 fixtures, pulling 0.7 amps times 0.7. So someone do 334 times 0.7.
234.
You got two what?
Man, you guys are horrible.
I got 2338.
Even with the cell phone.
Yeah, you got a
Yeah, well-
calculator.
I got 2338.
You know what? Do it on
I
paper.
rounded it up. So 233.8, but yeah.
Just give me a whole number.
Yeah,
For amps.
234.
234.
234, yeah.
Okay. So 234 amps for our LED. Okay, now let's go to our HID lighting. High intensity discharge. We need, how many fixtures do we need? 47. And this one per light, these are both running at 240 volt. We need, it's gonna pull 2.5 amps per light. So what's that 47 times 2.5?
117.5.
So 118? Might as well round up on everything.
Yeah,
118.
118? So 118 amps for HID lighting. So here's the question. Would you guys go with HID lighting or LED lighting with this building?
I go with HID.
I'll go with LED.
You're gonna spend
Hell
$234,000.
no, fuck you. Shit. Who credit cards you spending?
Yeah,
Yours?
it's not mine.
I think I'm
So,
going with the
with the
14.
agreement, we're going to go HID lighting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a no-brainer. I think the fact that we're spending, almost, not even a tenth, it's less than a tenth. It's
Yeah.
like a 20th of the cost.
That's a no-brainer.
How often you gonna have to replace those
The bulbs,
bulbs?
even if you replace them every year, it's not
It
going
still
to matter.
ain't gonna cost that damn
Because
much.
the bulb is maybe $100.
But if you're something's wrong. If
How's
this is
it
drawing more power, how are you paying less?
It's not the payment. I'm just thinking of putting in a panel. The amps is going to put. If I pull less amps, I'm going to. Well, here's the thing about it. You might have to figure out, well, if I do the HID lighting, do I grow faster versus LED? There's other things to take into account.
Right.
And when you're growing the plant, but I'm thinking to put in service to the building,
Mhm.
which lighting makes more sense?
Which one's gonna make your light bill more, right?
Well, you're going to run the same amount of time, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
you're going to run
that-
most of the day.
Yeah, but one pulls a whole lot less amperage than the other one.
Well, one pulls 108. It's almost half, right? So it's pulling half the
Pulling half.
amps. Because the thing that you're missing is the fact
You still
that
saving
hold
money.
on, stop. The one thing you're missing is that you're getting 64 square feet of lighting versus 9.
Mhm.
So that's if they were the same, it'd be a different story. But the fact that one can light up more area because of the discharge versus the LED is where it's like it doesn't make sense. But it's the fact that one is just a way wider spray. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
LEDs though, you're probably going to get a lot longer life out of the fixture, but we're talking the difference between like 20 years and 60 years. When in 20 years you're not gonna be there anyway. Whatever.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So you saying all LED
Yeah,
lights
did I
only
miss
give
something?
you?
I had a question. Yeah, could you project out your electricity bill
For sure.
if you
Yeah.
knew the rate? If you
Yeah.
know what your rate is?
Because that gets into the kilowatt rate is like when you see on your bill, you
Yeah.
get there's a kilowatt rate.
At
So-
different times of the day.
At different
Yeah,
times,
yeah.
So it
Well-
would fluctuate.
Well, the thing about it is that at being it's indoor, the light's got to be almost on the whole time. It's
But
going to be
at
off for a few
night,
hours.
Your rate is significantly lower,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Yep. And so you might run it off the night and maybe during the day when it's the brightest in the room, kick them off. There's other things that we would need to solve, but this is just the solving. When I call the electrician, what do I tell him on that? So it's-
But I want, how do you know your LED is only giving you 9 feet of
it tells you.
Uh-huh.
Like it'll
So
say.
why can't we get one that give us the exact same and then compare?
The thing about LED lighting that's weird is that when the LED light shines, say this is the light, it's like a direct downward. The radiation, they call it the PAR,
Mhm.
that it's giving, it's just like this downward shooting of lighting. So it doesn't give you like this whole cone effect. Like a street light, when it lights up a wide area, right?
Right.
So HID lighting, which is high intensity discharge, just gives you more of a spray of lighting versus just this column of lighting. I don't know the science behind it, but I know with these, it lights up specifically where it's at, which is why they have to be so close.
Mhm.
Versus HID lighting can be a little bit higher because it covers an area. And so this technology, a lot of times, is better when you got plants that are really small, like microgreens or herbs. You can have the lights really close because then you can do multiple tiers. With these, you can't do multiple tiers because the light fixture gets so hot, you're just going to burn the next plant above it. So if I was doing like wheatgrass, where I have all these tiers, the wheatgrass, or microgreens, then the lighting, then the next tier, and so on. These run a lot cooler, so I can do that. With this, you put them on top of that, it's just going to fry them like an egg. So you have a heat problem here. So this might be something that we actually, because this site is up in Wisconsin, this might be a benefit here. Because then the building is being heated by the lights that are on the whole time. Might not be fun in August, but in January, you're not going to have to heat nearly as much with lights on like this.
Then you're gonna need insurance for your employees' eyes.
Yeah, but you're talking about a whole different. yeah. So-
Glasses.
Could you evacuate the heat from the space using, I don't know.
Fans.
Yeah.
For the HID lighting?
Yeah.
Yeah, what happens a lot of times is your closet growers, their cannabis tents have a fan on it
Mhm.
to pull the heat out. And usually the fans have a carbon filter to keep the smell out, so it doesn't smell bad, but the heat is pulled. Because it actually gets really hot. And so, which is why when we looked at that ballast that was on the one I brought in, it had all those like the ribs on it. It's a heat displacement type thing. So
Could you heat another structure with that heat? Could you
I don't know if
try-
it'd be that much heat. Yeah, especially if, I've never lived anywhere that cold.
Yeah.
So I imagine it would. I would think these would help with the heat, but I don't think it would heat the whole floor
Okay.
because all your heat would just stay on the upper area.
Yeah.
You know?
Go rise.
So you would, if it was like, so because you said it's Wisconsin, if it was somewhere, let's say if you had to do somewhere like that, same space, and if it came down to it and it say it was a place, let's say like Marietta or somewhere,
Yeah.
you would have to rethink that whole thing because of
Yeah,
the area?
I might still go with the HID lighting.
but
It's
you
just
go
something
higher.
that's this one I might have to remove the heat. I might have a fan pulling that heat out versus trying to keep the heat in to heat the plants up. Because you got to figure in January, Wisconsin is probably super cold, I imagine. I mean, Dan probably know. You know, it's up top.
Yeah, so did it through Gemini, same conclusion, but I did a 1 to 10 year cost
Yeah.
analysis.
And
So
what's
at 1 year with the HID, you're saving $250,000 over LED, and over 10 years, you're saving $500,000.
with the
400
HID lighting?
Yeah, 463,000.
I mean, and think about HID lighting, it's pretty old technology. It's nothing. It's basically a street light. It's the same exact bulb. And so it's something that LED is great and all, but if I'm trying to grow 3,000 square feet of space, it might not be the best way to go. But if I'm growing, 400 square feet or 200 square feet in my garage, it might be the best. Because the thing is, too, is maybe you have a building already that has a panel, and you don't have enough amps to actually run the lights. So say we bought the building, and the panel is a 200 amp panel. Well, we know we can't use it unless we upgrade the panel, and that might be really expensive. And also, too, well, we're not even accounting for any fans, any pumps, any your walk-in, your cooler for your storage for your
Generators.
products. So we're talking just lighting alone. If we do LED, we're actually pulling more amps because of just the number of fixtures that we have there. So, this space, if they had an LED light that could give you the 8x8 spacing, it'd be a home run on that. And so, but I don't know of any LED lights that. Most LED lights say they give you the exact lighting of the size of the light fixture. So if the light fixture is a 1x1 space, they're saying the most you can get is a 2x2 space, which is not a very powerful light, and that's not really great for a commercial grower on that. So unless you're stuck inside.
Yeah, because why would they even give you a LED? It doesn't compare.
Well, I think LEDs work great on like small scale stuff you're doing at home, stuff you're doing in a closet or garage. But if you're talking a commercial farm that you're having to fund, you're getting your own debt on it, it's your own money, it might not be the best way to go. And we just did this right now, so there might be something I'm missing here, but just on the basic math, the LED just seems really expensive and pulls a lot of power just because of sheer number. Because it's basically, how many fixtures we got here? We're looking at 334 to 47, so it's like it's like a 1 to 7. Yeah.
Because of the 9,
Yes.
the 9 feet.
Yeah.
Over.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And so it's just the spacing here. And the thing about it too is, this is probably a 600 watt bulb. If we did a 1,000 watt bulb, we might get more spacing, but we'll pull more amps though. So it's usually, most HID lighting is 600 or 1,000 watts. It just depends.
So they have these new LED lights called 1-to-1 HID replacements that are getting that same coverage area as the
Are the
HID.
LED ones that are getting
It's
the
called
same?
a 1-to-1 HID replacement. So there's companies doing that now, and it pulls lower amperage as well.
It's a replacement for what? It's replacing the HID with the LED?
It does the same thing as that, yeah.
And
So
does it screw into the same bulb spot?
I'm reading it right now.
Yeah.
Lighting manufacturers have engineered specific lines of LED fixtures designed to hang in the exact same spots as legacy HID or HPS lights, cover the exact same square footage, but draw significantly fewer amps.
Yeah.
How much?
And then power?
How
Yeah,
much
that's the
is it?
price.
Yeah.
So find the price.
Because if you could find an LED lighting that gives you the same footprint as the HID, then you're in a good spot. So, either way, point being is that you guys can see if you're actually looking at a structure this large, and this is one floor. So if we did all 3 floors, you're looking at what, probably
3 times that
700 amps, and then you're paying
God.
almost $1 million for lights. You know, so and then you get into the math. I'm like, well, what are we growing, right? Because it needs to be making some money if we're paying this much to to grow it.
Which you want your money
Yeah, of course. So either way, this is just a basic kind of arithmetic to figure out what lighting should I go, which is based off what's there. Because like I said before, if there was already a panel there, or say to put in a new panel, you know, it's way too expensive to do the LED light to go from 118 to 234, then that might change things. But the idea is that you do the basic math, and AI, I'm sure, will solve it for you.
Yeah.
But I probably wouldn't write a check just based off AI. I'd probably check myself to see is it right, which it always says at the bottom, double check its work. It's usually right though.
So the cost of these new LED, one-to-one LED replacements range $550 to $1,000, but they said it pays for itself because there's actually using less amps, and you don't have to deal with the cooling requirements.
So it's the amps of LED, but it's the footprint of HID
It,
lighting.
it covers 8x8 too.
Yeah. What's the price of those
You
bulbs?
say 500.
550 to 1,000.
Is it just the bulb, or is it the whole fixture? It's probably just the bulb if it's just a one-to-one replacement.
Fixture.
Oh wow.
So it's not even a replacement; it's just a whole new thing.
Yeah. And it's so the amp
And how
draw
much?
is 2.8 amps.
Is that 1,000 watt equivalent?
Power draw, it would be 690 watts.
2.2.
So that would be 167,000 versus the 233
For which one? The
over there. It'll be 167
where?
if you went to 500.
LED.
Well, the price
Because right
dropped
now
first.
the price
So
would drop a little
334.
bit.
This one?
But
Over here the
will
LED.
will
If you
still
went with
need
the other one.
334?
Well, no, because you wouldn't.
Oh, you wouldn't even
as
need
many
You
lights.
would need
34.
You need the
47.
same lights.
Oh, you
Yeah,
need the
as
same.
You
that
have
HID.
47 lights. So let's do that
So
now.
let's do that one. So let's remember, was it 14? 14.
But this isn't a vacuum too, so you're not counting for the cooling you need because of the extreme heat.
Yeah, we're just talking about lighting
Yeah.
right now. We can go and lead to this one.
Yeah.
So this
Oh,
was.
so it'd be 23.5.
So let's do that. So when we know 47 lights is the same, is it how many amps is it pulling?
2.8.
2.8. Oh, it's a.
So everything would be the same, right?
So this is 2.8 amp per fixture. So this is HID. We'll say hybrid. Okay, and so still same footprint, 2.8 amps per fixture. We only need the 47. So what's that? So the 2.8 times 47 lights. What's that for amperage?
132.
132.
130. So we're pulling a total of 132 amps. And then what's the cost?
550 to 1,000. So
150 to 1,000.
550 to 1,000.
Let's do 750 to split it. The amps is 132, and then 750 times 40. What's 750 times 47?
It's 32,250. 32.
32,500.
250. 250. 32,250.
$32,250. Okay, so we're pulling amps as if it's a HID lighting. We're getting the same footprint, but we're obviously getting less heat and we're getting a longer lifespan, right?
30 to 50% less heat.
Okay. So in this scenario, do you guys think it's worth the extra dollar to lose the heat?
Because you ain't got to buy
Depends on
fans
the
and
cost
stuff,
of
right?
the heat.
Well, depends on location, right? In the sense of
Location
if I'm in
too.
All these other
Wisconsin, I actually might want that.
You
Yeah.
might want that.
So I might still go with the old school HID lighting, but maybe if I'm in Marietta, Temecula, anywhere east of here, really, that heat might be a problem.
Yeah.
And so I might go with the hybrid. I lose half the heat, but I get the same footprint. All right, well, that's good to know. So LED, HID hybrid, old school HID lighting. So yeah, all right. Any questions about this, guys? All right, I'm gonna go ahead and erase this. My head hurts now.
Expensive.
And that's just the lighting. Then you got to go into count of how long the lights need to be on based off the plant. You can imagine if it was any plant that has fruit on it, it's probably going to be on most of the day. compared to maybe like wheatgrass or microgreens or herbs. Probably don't need that full day to be on. So yeah.
So I did all three options, 10-year projections, HID 300,000, small LEDs 725,000, and then the new LEDs, the hybrid or that 1-to-1, just 179,000 over 10 years.
Okay. And the advantage with the 1-to-1 is the loss of heat and probably the lifespan.
Yeah, and cost too. You're covering the same area, but the cost over 10 years.
They're saying the verdict, option 3.
So the cost over 10 years with the hybrid is cheaper than just HID lighting, I
Yeah,
imagine, right?
it's twice as much almost for
Okay.
HID.
So so what was that 10-year cost for the hybrid, for the 1-to-1 and the HID lighting?
HID 300,000 and the
Oh, wow.
well 297 if you want.
Okay.
And then for the commercial LEDs 1-to-1 thing, it's 179,000 over 10 years.
Over 10 years?
Yep. Yep.
Hold on a second here. So you have the hybrid, we'll just call it the hybrid, just this.
So option 1 was HID.
Hybrid, and then HID. And so we're talking the 10-year cost.
You got 10-year total.
10 years old, so that's assuming the
Upfront
materials
install,
and
yeah.
in the bill.
Yep.
And so what's the 10-year cost for the hybrid?
297,000.
No, the
for the
hybrid.
hybrid. 179,000.
Okay, so 179, and then what was the HID lighting?
297.
297,
Yep.
and that's just due because of the power you're buying, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only upfront cost is 14,000. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And then you take into account, is solar an option, right? Because that offsets things. It's funny, we were looking at a location in Maine that had water rights, and it had an old broken down power generator that you use the water. And it was only one of the few spots that still had water rights, so you could actually pay to get that generator fixed and get the water rights to power. And I was just chatting with the AI about this. I'm like, well, how many lights, HID lights, could I power off the power generator from this? And it was like, well, you basically could do between 6,000 to 800 or 6,000 to 8,000 lights,
Wow.
which is more than you'd ever need. I mean, you basically could light up a neighborhood, really.
Dang.
And so that was interesting. The thing about it too is that the government had funds to refurbish the generator, and the everything was down there because it had to be salmon safe now, because there's new laws about salmon being able to go back upstream to spawn, so they couldn't get sucked in. So you had to refurbish with a generator, a pump that would allow fish to go through, and they basically were paying for that to be done. So I've come to find out that the municipality, the county, actually owned that part of the building. So even if you bought the structure, it wasn't yours. They owned like the generator section of your house, really. And so that kind of died. But it was interesting to think that you could buy a warehouse, have the water rights, power your lights, and it's January in Maine. I mean, you basically would create enough power, you could power a few houses around you. So either way, I digress. All right, any other questions, guys? My head officially hurts now, so I think we're good on that. And then when you guys get time, when you go back into the Google Classroom, I posted some old photos I found of the
I saw
property
that.
here.
That's
Hey.
cool.
Cool.
So that was, I was like, Brad Pitt?
Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
I didn't see him.
I seen it.
Yeah, he's in it. So
Jennifer
and
Aniston.
we were trying to find if that tractor was still around, but it's long gone.
It's probably buried somewhere. You sure?
I don't think it's buried. It's kind of hard to bury a tractor.
Right.
So, all right, guys, we're all
yeah.
set for the day, and so I think we're good to go. If you just do me a favor, put the chairs away.
We got more math this week.
There's math every week, but don't worry about the math this week. We'll start it the following week.
So the company that makes these lights,
Just
one of
read
them,
You want the chairs on the table?
Please.
Photon Tech. Photon Tech.
Can you post that into the classroom?
Will do. Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, post the whole.
Yeah. Check.
So,
That was pretty good.
it's totally.
Use it every day for changes your life.
So if it's hot here, I can just
But
imagine.
the problem, they're trying to borrow in schools, the most schools.
Oh, yeah.
Marietta?
Oh yeah.
And I think that